The following program contains strong language and content of a sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek nature. Viewer discretion is advised. Finally, after the longest commercial break in history, Hulk Hogan makes his Impact debut, brother. I like how they use a variation of the NWO theme. Now wait a minute. He says, "I've been in the back all day long." But we've been shown his limo en route a few times, so which is it? Because he can't be in two places at the same time. Scott and Shawn get into the ring to confront Hogan, and a semi-coherent talk about how times are different ensues. Then Kevin Nash comes down. Then Eric Bischoff comes down. What's funny is that they show Dixie and she's shaking her head, seemingly disapprovingly. I agree, the promo's taking too long. And why are they showing Sting up in the rafters? What the fuck, is he the Phantom of the Impact Zone? Finally, after 30 minutes of promo commercial time and an hour and 18 minutes into the show, we get the third match of the night. The third match! Sarita and Taylor Wilde defend their knockout tag team titles against Hamada and Awesome Kong. Why are Kong and Hamada teaming up? Good question! When you find out the answer, hit me up with it. About 3 minutes into the match, they cut to the backstage for an unnecessary spot where I guess the Motor City Machine Guns have been attacked. The rest of the match was pretty good, but I have to disagree with the crowd. It wasn't awesome. The titles change hands, but I'm not buying Kong and Hamada as a team. They didn't work very well with each other. Maybe if they had been teaming up of late, working together to make a cohesive team, I would have been more excited and this would have made more sense. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. Val Venus makes an appearance at the Beautiful People's poker table. Okay, that's out of left field. Raven and Dr. Stevie, I feel like such an idiot calling him Doctor, take on Hernandez and Matt Morgan in a pointless 30-second squash. I'm not rating it because it's not a match. The Pope D'Angelo De Niro cuts a promo until Orlando Jordan interferes looking for Hogan. Then D'Angelo takes on Desmond Wolfe and I have to wonder, why should I care about this? How can the audience say this is wrestling 5 minutes in? Another short, pointless match that sees Desmond lose any momentum he should have gained from the supposed high-profile feud with Kurt Angle. Honestly, if the Pope can beat him cleanly, how much of a threat is Desmond? I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. Ugh, Rhino is attacked. Bischoff interrupts AJ's interview and says he's defending the title tonight against Angle instead of at Genesis. Hogan interrupts Jeff Jarrett's promo via video and talks about how Jeff hasn't improved TNA, but Hogan and Dixie will. Christopher Daniels' promo is interrupted by Jeremy Borash trying to stop Mick Foley from confronting Hulk Hogan, and we find out that Jeff Hardy has added painting to the list of things he can't do well. The next match is Abyss taking on Samoa Joe for no foreseeable reason. And don't forget to get your exclusive Hogan-Dixie commemorative trading card for the low price of $40. Again, in the middle of the match, they cut backstage to Sting for no reason. 5 minutes into the match and Joe is huffing and puffing, proof that he's out of shape. When Abyss goes to tap out, it doesn't look so much of a tap out as him just hitting the mat. I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. Eric gives Crystal the cold shoulder about seeing Hogan, and then Beer Money is attacked as we go to commercial. When we come back, Bubba the Love Sponge helps the Nasty Boys get in. They've got their ring equipment as though they're going to wrestle, but we never see them on the show. What the fuck? I can understand Foley bringing his ring gear with him. He's a member of the roster, but the Nasty Boys haven't even premiered yet. Shannon Moore is psyched to be on TNA, but Jeff Hardy seems apprehensive and depressed, despite him making an appearance that the crowd ate up. He gives his painting to some teen girl fans. Hey, do they alternate who hangs it on their wall each week? And I guess the Nasty Boys wrecked Team 3D's locker room because they're in Japan. So Team 3D has their own locker room. Doesn't that seem like a waste of resources? Finally, we come to our main event. AJ Styles defends his TNA heavyweight title against Kurt Angle. When AJ goes for a dive over the ropes towards the beginning of the match, it looks like his boot connects with Kurt's head. Ouch! And whoops! Then the Masked Man, you remember the one that attacked AJ months ago, interferes, and yet the referee doesn't call for the match to end. The audience chants, "This is wrestling." You want to know why you won't hear this in the WWE? Because the WWE audience aren't complete morons. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Wow, if the audience wasn't there, I would have never realized I was watching wrestling. It doesn't help that the audience will chant anything at the drop of a hat. Despite the crowd, I enjoyed this match. There was a decent amount of near falls, and both men truly proved their worth in the company. They cut to Ric Flair coming out as AJ is countering an ankle lock, which I thought was a bad time for him to make an appearance. The match also suffers from 2 commercial breaks. Close to the end, AJ and Kurt are fighting to continuously get their signature move on each other, and after seeing it multiple times, it gets kinda old. Ric Flair leaves, okay, and AJ Styles does a beautiful, I think it was a 450 splash off the ropes. It was a good title match, though there are some things involved that were really unneeded. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. Post-match, Mick Foley gets attacked by Nash, Hall, and Waltman, and it seems like Hogan and Eric are in league with them. So, are Eric and Hogan the faces or the heels by allowing them to attack Foley? I mean, it's a pretty heelish thing to do. Overall, can you see the trend running throughout this show? Interruption, short match, drawn out promo, interruption, attack, short match, interruption, attack, drawn out promo, good main event, attack. There is just too much going on. And honestly, it's too much of the same thing. If TNA is considering a second show, they better get it underway immediately, because prior to tonight, having 30 plus wrestlers on a 2-hour show didn't work. Now that they've added about a dozen more, they're going to need another show, or they're going to have to cut their roster down by at least half. Also, there were very few people on this show that interested me, and the ones that I did care about were in pointless matches. I don't really care about the NWO, the Nasty Boys, Orlando Jordan, or to a degree, Jeff Hardy. Ric Flair and Sting make silent appearances, which is a mistake. Finally, while the match quality was on par with Raw, TNA's production value is in the shitter. If Hogan is adamant about changing TNA for the better, his first stop should be the production manager. I'm giving this show a 5 out of 10. So at the end of the day, I bet you're wondering who I think did better. Well, the best way to answer this is who had more to lose. Raw was a by-the-numbers 2-hour program with a high-profile guest. Impact was a special 3-hour program that featured a high-profile acquisition that brought with him some less than stellar talent and the return of one of the biggest casual fan favorites. It seems like Impact had the most to gain and therefore lose. From my ratings, match quality was about on par with that of Raw, but you also have to take into account that Impact had an extra hour and therefore match quality should have been higher since they had more potential time to extend match length. Instead, we get short matches, needless and or drawn out promos, and things coming out of left field for no apparent reason. What this Impact lacked and what Raw has is cohesion. Impact could have been booked a lot better with matches and promos that would have impressed and inspired me to tune in next week. Unfortunately, both shows just proved I'm not really missing anything by changing the channel. Thank you for listening, and please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe.